Once, on the rocky coast of Maine, there lived a young boy named Logan. He often complained that life was unfair, that others were lucky while he was not. Every morning, he arrived late at the harbor, dragging his feet and muttering, "I'll try tomorrow." Tomorrow became his favorite word, until one stormy day changed everything. That afternoon, Logan was sent across the rough sea to deliver food to an old lighthouse keeper named Henry. He grumbled the whole way, cursing the cold wind and the rain that soaked through his jacket. When he reached the island, he found Henry standing at the base of the tall lighthouse, holding a lantern against the howling storm. The old man smiled and said, "You're just in time, boy. Tonight, if this light goes out, ships could crash into the rocks. A single hour of darkness can cost dozens of lives." Logan laughed carelessly. "If I were you, I'd light it once and let it burn all night. Why climb up and down every evening?" Henry didn't answer. He turned a small hourglass in his hand and said quietly, "Would you like to hear a story, Logan? A story about a man who lost his fortune because he thought he still had time." Logan shrugged, but curiosity flickered in his eyes. "Many years ago," Henry began, "in a small Scottish town there lived a silversmith named Edward. He was talented, but terribly lazy. One day, a wealthy merchant came to him and said, 'I'm leaving in 12 days. Make me 12 silver bracelets, one for each day. If you finish on time, I'll pay you 10 times your usual price.' Edward agreed eagerly. But on the first day, he went out drinking with his friends. On the second, he decided to rest. By the 10th day, he hadn't even touched his tools. When the snowstorm came on the 11th day, his furnace went cold and he caught a fever. On the 12th day, the merchant returned. Edward had only 2 half-finished bracelets. The merchant looked at him sadly and said, "I'm not disappointed in your work, Edward. I'm disappointed that you sold your entire life to tomorrow." From that day on, no one trusted Edward again. People called him the Smith of Tomorrow, and he died with nothing but regret. When Henry finished, the only sound was the wind crashing against the waves. Logan stared at the old man and whispered, "What happened to you after that?" Henry smiled faintly. "I was his apprentice," he said. "I watched him waste his years until the fire inside him, and in his forge, went out forever. From that day, I promised I'd never let my own light die because of delay." He turned toward the raging sea. "Look, Logan, the ocean never waits. It moves, it devours, it passes. Time is the same. It doesn't hate us, but it never stops for us either." Logan stood silently, the wind whipping his hair, the words sinking deep into his chest. That night, he helped Henry climb the tower and light the great lamp. For the first time, he understood what it meant to keep a light burning, not just for ships, but for one's own life. Years later, the island still shone every night. But the man climbing the stairs was no longer Henry. It was Logan, the boy who once said tomorrow. He became the youngest lighthouse keeper on the coast, and to every visitor who came, he told the same story, ending with these words: "If you think you still have time, look at the sea. The waves wait for no one, and neither does life." And if this story stirred something inside you, a reminder of how precious your time truly is, don't let it fade away like another forgotten moment. Subscribe to Tiny Power Tales for more stories that awaken your mind and heart, and join IPA English Story to learn English through powerful, meaningful tales. Every story is a seed of wisdom. Let's grow them together, one tale at a time.